Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 90 Degree Show, hosted by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. And here's your host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
Welcome to the 90 Degree Show. I'm your host, Joe Beard, and happy to be of service for you tonight. Tonight is December 6th, 2015, 5 o'clock on the West Coast and 8 o'clock on the East Coast. We appreciate all those listening live and listening in podcast form, whether through iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, our website, or wherever you are on the interwebs this evening. At the end of the show, if you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund, all right? Again, tonight, thanks for listening. Welcome to the 90 Degree Show. We are at week 14, pretty much the very end of the year. Thanks again for all the people who have listened this year. If you're listening tonight, thanks again for all the support. Seeing, like they say, a little bit more each week here and there, Facebook, wherever it is. Even starting to see some folks commenting out there on YouTube while we making sure we are uploading those YouTube clips. So again, thanks again for all the support. We are going to save our schools. We are going to definitely build that infrastructure because our money, we are putting our money somewhere. I've been reading some stuff this week, but definitely I believe in our dollars. I know, like they say, if we continue to let each one of us touch each dollar, we will succeed. All right? So enough about that. Let's go and get into the nitty-gritty about what's going on. Christy, the great Christy Walker, will not be with us tonight. I think she said she's going to be in a play tonight. I think, it's Christmas time. A lot of Christmas plays, church plays, and everything. But we do have the great, one and only owner and founder of Block Band Music and Publishing, Rashad Waters himself. What's going on tonight, Rashad?
So I guess we need to clarify something real quick here, because I noticed how Christy has always been the great Christy Walker. But me, I'm normally just the founder of and CEO of Block Band Music and Publishing. But when Christy's not here, then I get to be the great and then the founder. That's interesting.
My bad. It's in the script. It's like I got her name first from the great. So like since she ain't on today, I just didn't have her, so your name just slid over. That's kind of, you're just reading. You know what I'm saying? Not memorizing my music, reading from the music. You know how. What's going on tonight? How you doing tonight, man?
Doing all good, man. Doing all good. We're just slowing down just a little bit with the season coming to an end, but church stuff still goes on. I had the chance to sing with my family a little bit yesterday. So I'm always doing the singing at church thing too.
That's outstanding, man. That's outstanding. You have any big plans for the holiday season?
I am considering the Celebration Bowl. Like we talked about last time, I didn't really understand initially that it was this year. So I'm considering that. That would be cool. And anybody that can go should go, because it's another opportunity to support our black schools, just like you were saying.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is going to be a headliner, if you will. I think, again, it's going to be announcing the bowl season, so it's going to be on TV. So really excited to see it. Really excited just to see the matchup. But like they said, and I think like the great Janelle Bree said last week, just putting and focusing those finances to making sure those schools get the benefit and putting it out there themselves. It's outstanding, and we definitely want to get into, because I know a little bit from last week. I know I texted you last week, Rashard, but we had someone from Grambling call in. Well, she didn't call in, and she said I had to clean up some things I said, or she needs to clean some things up. Okay, so we'll definitely give her a chance to do that tonight. And again, I think mostly, we'll talk about that in the middle segment. I do want to get what you hear from tonight from the halftime show for our SWAC challenge, if you will, SWAC championship. I guess not a challenge, between Alcorn State University and Grambling State University from Week 14. Tonight's show is brought to you by Showtime Web. That's the video I was able to check out today for the halftime show. Two good halftime shows. So Rashad and I will get into that as well. And I believe, I don't know her real name, but the person from Graham I was talking about gave her a shout out last week, Miss LL Cool K, and she will, I don't know if she got a chance to see the halftime show, but we'll bring her in and see what she got a chance to see this week as well. So, again, thanks for calling in, Rashad. Shout out to Christy. Shout out to Ashley as well. Shout out to all the folks. Let me just give a round of applause here. Shout out to all the folks, again, that actually give me some feedback. A lot of times I hear feedback, and it's mostly because, like, they didn't like what I said about their school, pretty much. Or,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, your show ain't really nothing. So it's just like, man, but when I say good stuff, I don't never hear anything. So shout out to people that this is, again, not a news network. It is for the people. And we are, again, combining our efforts and our scholarships to build our schools. But, again, if Rashad and I had it like we want to, we'll have a news correspondent at every game we want. The folks will call in, give us a full report. But, again, it's taken, 5 years just to get where we are. But, again, we going to get there. So, again, don't be mad. When
Joe, we probably haven't stepped on nearly the toes that we stepped on last year. I think we've been kind of calm this year.
Yeah,
overall, I mean, maybe they've hit you up personally, but like last year, was it last year? It was like all on the fifth quarter, and a couple of times on the fifth quarter. Particularly Sam and Jackson State. Well, Jackson State was earlier this year. That was me personally. Was Fam last year, or was it 2 years ago? It all kind of runs together.
I think it was 2 years ago, because it was, I think, Fam's first year back at the Florida Classic. And it was like, oh, man. And, I was like, okay, but and they was like, man, you really need to watch you need to be there. That's what all the fan brothers were calling it. You need to be there, brother. I was like, nah, man. But again, the point of the show is more definitely for the conversation. But, yeah, if Rashad and I could be at every game, or if we had the correspondents at every game, that's why we had the videographers. Shout out to them and what they do. But like we said, we will get there. We'll have our own TV network one day, and then bringing millions of dollars into the network. But we'll get there. But again, don't be mad. We just trying to keep it real over here. All right. So we'll get to her. We'll talk about what we saw this week. Again, if you want to set us straight, please don't hesitate. 718-664-6025. Folks is hitting me up on Facebook or, Twitter or whatever. I guess that's cool too. I'm glad I said that. We actually have some more folks that gave me something from week 12, Rashad, from the Miles, Alabama State discussion. Some folks sent me some stuff about that, and they wanted to, so I need to read that as well. So, again, even if it's a couple weeks late, we appreciate it. But yeah, like, we will get there. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put Rashad on mute, and we'll pay the bills from our beloved sponsors, the greatest businesses in the world, for helping us do what we do here on the network. Again, thanks again for all the support. We'll be right back here getting into Week 14 here in the SWAC Championship. You know what you're listening to, y'all. Thanks again.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is DeAnthony Smullen, proud alum of the school where everybody is somebody, Grambling State University, and you're listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
Having an anniversary party, birthday party, or better yet, you're about to marry that special someone? Liquid Effects Photography is the perfect choice to immortalize all your most special moments. With 10 years of dependable professional service that can deliver from the conventional to the best in cutting-edge technology and creativity. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography. We serve the entire upper Midwest and will travel further upon request. Come check us out at liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Or call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556.
Double Time Entertainment. Our passion is music and promoting HBCU marching bands as well as high school marching bands through high-quality movie videos and photos. We have worked with BET, Yamaha, Ludwig, Honda Motor Company, and been featured on CNN and Lifetime Network's series Bama State Style. We also help and orchestrate Battle of the Bands with marketing and promotions, and also became the official media team for the Queen City Battle of the Bands in Charlotte, North Carolina. Join Double Time Entertainment on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and now new on Periscope. Music lovers are noteworthy.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probates to dance footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge One Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on Bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
Hello, this is Dr. Joel Beard, Jackson State alumnus, 1966. I march in the Jackson State Marching Band, which was then called the best band in the land. And you are now listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
Welcome back. That is North Carolina A&T bringing us back from the commercial break. Again, from greatest businesses on earth. All of our sponsors. Shout out to all the sponsors. I'm going to unmute Rashad's microphone here as we get into the Great SWAC Championship. I think we have a caller here, and I'm wondering if this is L. Let me just double check for GP because I don't really know how to work this masking thing. Caller from the 713 area code. What's your name? Where are you calling from tonight?
Hi, my name is Kelly, but on Facebook I go by LL Cool K.
Oh, okay. Well, Kelly, hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you calling in. Really appreciate getting back, giving us the feedback. I wanted to talk about Alcorn. Did you get a chance to see the halftime show with Alcorn and Grambling today?
Well, actually, I was there. I attended the game, and I had really, really good seats on the Grambling side, but both bands played the opposite side that I was sitting on. So I saw both of the performances. I saw the backs of the band as well as from the, the different screens that were showing. So it was, I was there, but it was just really hard to get a really good sense. I would just put it out there. I'm all about telling the truth. I think after halftime, our band, Grambling State University, it was a really tough loss for us and a really tough game for us. And so we didn't really play very much after halftime. And so we heard the sounds of Dynamite, loud and clear from the beginning of the football game all the way till the end. And so it was my first time seeing Alcorn State in a while, I think in a couple of years. And I was very impressed with their musical selection, very impressed with their sound, just impressed with Alcorn, just overall in general. Their fan support was just amazing for those people who went, and this is coming from a diehard Grambling fan and Grambling graduate first and foremost. But you just saw a sea of purple from the time that, and I live in Houston, so from the time that I got off of 610 onto the street that takes you into NRG Stadium, Kirby Drive, and you could just see these purple shirts and purple sweatshirts just like walking to the game, and they were really heavy in the tailgate area. And, of course, when you walked into NRG Stadium, which is a really large stadium. It's where the Houston Texans play. They were just out in large numbers. So I think it speaks to just a group of alumni and friends and supporters who really support their football team and who really support their band. And like I said, I been in band, been around music and college bands all my life, played in band. And just was really impressed with Alcorn State, the sounds of Dynamite. Impressed with the world famed as well. I'm going to kind of switch gears. I think this has been a magnificent season for the world famed marching band. It was just hard for us to kind of, take that loss, and I think the band was in shock as much as, those of us who have been following the football team, because we've not lost any games this season, and we beat Alcorn for their homecoming, and it was just, it was sobering. I will say that. So I think all around you saw a band that, in my opinion, I think it's just been a stellar performance for the world fame this season. But I think they were much like the rest of us, like, what's going on the football field? Like, this isn't our team. And so just a little shocked.
Well, we all were shocked. No.
Yeah.
No. That was great. Okay. That was really good. Mm-hmm. No, we all were shocked because I was surprised. I was all excited to watch the game and to see what was going on. And they scored fast and they just kept the lead.
They did. Yeah.
So and then it's great to hear you were there, but wow, you said a lot of good stuff about Alcorn. I just did not want to hear that, Rashad. So it's just like, so they really must have showed up. So even the alumni, you said, was pretty deep out there.
I think that was the most impressive because, in the SWAC, and again, I say everything that I say with love. I grew up on SWAC football. I grew up watching, the legendary Coach Eddie Robinson as a little girl. My mother went to Grambling. My sister went to Southern, so I grew up on Southern's campus also. Grew up just being really excited when Jackson State would come to town, even back in the day when Southern played FAMU. I remember them coming and just being in awe of them, like in 5th grade, and really knowing. And at that time, I was just like in elementary school. Like I was just learning to play the clarinet. And so seeing all of those amazing SWAC bands of the 80s and 90s just really kept me focused, on playing the clarinet. Now, I will say when I got to Grambling, I didn't, I went out for my little tryout and was so intimidated and thought to myself like, I think I'm just going to focus on my schoolwork. But again, just always a really big fan of the world famed. And so, like, I know these bands intimately. I've known them all my life. And certainly, that Jackson State for years has been, I think what some people would think when they think of like, battling and stuff. Someone just told me, well, Grambling needs to be careful because you got schools like Talladega who people have never even heard of, and they're like battling and everybody. And I'm like, I didn't know that that's where this is going to, But what I always tell people is that, like, I know the history of Grambling, and I know that continues to stand the test of time, and I know that it's because of Grambling State University that the nation really took a notice of, like, HBCU. So I'm always, a little sad and, like, frustrated when I hear people, like, say that Grambling has kind of lost it, or like to not play on NBC was a demotion, and Grambling's not relevant. And it's like, of course Grambling is relevant because we're still traveling. We're one of the only bands, I would say, even out of the professional, the PWIs, the predominantly white institutions. Grambling's band still travels to just about every football game. Like, I know that finances continues to be an issue. But Dr. Pennell still gets the band where they need to be. We're still being asked to do amazing things, with NFL teams and Fortune 500 companies and all of that. So Grambling is very much still relevant. And at the same time, we can still follow our football team and support without there being I'm sorry, that's my dog. Without there being like a financial strain or something like that. And I don't know, I just feel like Dr. Pennell is a great steward of the budget that he is given, and he's a great businessman, so he also knows how to generate funds for the band. And so that, for me and for us, that's always a plus, and the world famed is always still out there. That being said, it's awesome to see a school like Alcorn, who probably, I would say, isn't as well known as a Grambling State or a Southern University, just to see that alumni support. I haven't seen that in a long time. And there are bands out there, there are schools out there like Southern and Jackson who claim to be the universities that travel the best, right? And I think Alcorn showed everyone this year that that's not necessarily true because their fans, they've been there from the beginning. Outnumbered.
That's actually really cool. And I know that you got into – and okay, so you brought up the NBC thing. So, Rashad, we last week – because we still talking about Grambling. It's still talking about Grambling, and they were in the championship. Last week, I said, I don't know what specifically I said, but I was saying that they took it off NBC, and it was a demotion, and it was because of the ratings, okay? I have been informed, and I did read the article before, but I wanted to ask you about this. Kelly. Is it okay if I call you Kelly?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And I wanted to ask you about this because the real issue was about the time change. So it's traditionally a 1:30 kickoff, and they changed it to 4. And in the article I was reading, it was saying because it was, so they could allow more time for traveling over the Thanksgiving holiday and more ancillary events. So I was like, okay, cool, I understand that. So I got to ask you this. Do you know if there was any negotiation from Grambling or from Southern or from the Bayou Classic, both, to NBC to still keep the game in that national slot despite the time change?
So I can't speak to this for sure. I'd have to say that I think so. So everything that you said, that's pretty much what we were told as well. In addition to that, when you think of, these major networks bringing on board sports networks, it really is to fill an appetite for college sports and things of that nature. And so for me personally, and the people that I connect with who are in the know about these things, both universities moving to the NBC Sports Network were able to generate more take-home, take-back-to-school funds, which is always positive. But then at the same time, I mean, it's not like, it's a network where only HBCUs are playing. Like Notre Dame plays on this particular network, and I think all or most of their games are there. So I think it's just these networks fielding an appetite that Americans have for more sports coverage. And I think that if the powers that be would not have thought about moving the game to 4 o'clock and keeping it at 1:30, then that game would have been played on NBC at 1:30.
Right.
I think my issue was I just in thinking that, the Bayou Classic has gotten so bad, NBC doesn't want to cover it anymore. And that's not the case.
Right. And someone else on YouTube, he didn't say that, but I think that's the tone that I picked up in his words, as that's what I was saying. So that's why I wanted to make sure that I got on the air. That's not the tone I was saying. It's like the Bayou Classic. My tone is a little bit more of our supporting our schools. That's my tone in pushing. Because to me, when I saw they took it off NBC, I was like, well, hold up now. I always know that's going to be on 502 or 02. I ain't got to go look for no, you know what I'm saying? So then it was like, okay, so is it going to be less people that's going to see this game? So then again, I got frazzled. I took it personal, So then it's like, okay, so what's the indictment? Rashad, what did you think, man, about time change, or just, I know we talked about it a little bit last week, and I know, you started 100 for Hampton and the same push for the support, but what did you think about the time change and essentially what NBC was trying to maneuver? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm heavily involved in this conversation as you guys are talking. I'm like, oh, okay, because no, for real, I'm just listening right now because I was feeling that same way. I was feeling like I was kind of like on our people, like, man, you guys should have been watching the Bayou Classic. You see what happened? Y'all didn't watch it, and they took it off.
Right.
And I had no idea that it was because of the time change. So I apologize to all of our people for not saying that they didn't support it. But still, we do need to support it, But I just don't have, them extra channels. You know what I'm saying? I got Netflix and chill. So.
Well, I mean, and I think that I do think that that's a valid point because I have a lot of friends, just like me who are college educated and professional and are like, I think I'm going to quit cable. I'd much rather spend that, $170-something a month on something a little bit more something else other than giving it to the cable. Right. So, yeah, there are a lot of people. And, I mean, that is a valid point because for the people who are quitting cable, and let's just be honest, there are a lot of people who are doing that, then it doesn't give you that medium to be able to watch it on Channel 2, because you've got that channel. So that's valid.
So I'm glad that like I say, glad that you actually came out. Because, again, like I was telling Rashad, folks love to say something, we don't like what they say, but, I appreciate you hit me back and you actually came on the show to actually, represent Grambling, too. Because, and don't be mad at me, I kind of always be giving it to Grambling. But don't nobody from Grambling actually call in from the show and say something. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But it's like the SWAC love. So when you were like, I'm mad, you were like, I'm disappointed. I was like, oh no, I don't think she's ever heard I talk bad about Grambling. So yeah, but it's like it's a smile thing because I have heard so much Jackson State like slang over the years. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And all the folks that have not heard them, just for you, Elle, I wrote a couple down here just so you knew, because I was going to talk about Grambling today. And this was a good show. I thought both schools was excited, but still, I'm just going to give you a couple of phrases from Jackson State. Please, boo, forgive me, because I just wanted to even myself out with Elle here. Shout out to the Reds. So right quick, some people have told me, they have said Sonic Pop of the South. I have heard that a lot of times. I've heard, let me see, some, of course, everyone's favorite, Jesus Wept, Merry Christmas, and Jay Stank. Everyone heard that. I think everyone likes that one. Let's see here. The 45ers, because everyone, Black Schools March 90s. The 45ers. Someone actually said the 45-degree show. So I actually have some more, but definitely I just wanted to put that out there for you so that hey, we square now. I just put it out there, so to put something about myself, so we good, okay? Okay. So you said that you saw the actual performance. I want to get into the performance because I want to talk about, I guess you could talk about the other things maybe in the last segment.
There is one thing, if we can talk about it, there is one thing that I would like to talk about, something that you said last week that I think caused me to send you message after message on Facebook, and it was regarding the tribute to Devon. Can we talk about that?
Oh yeah.
Regarding what? What was
that? Devon Gales, the guy, the Southern football player. He got hurt. I think playing Georgia. I think they playing one. Yeah, and he got hurt. And Grambling in their show last week did a tribute to him. And I said it was a gimmick, Rashad, because I don't like people pulling at my heartstrings while we trying to battle and stuff. So yes, please, Elle, I will give you the floor about this, please.
Oh, is that why you said that? Okay. Well, I think I just wanted to just kind of clear the air about that. I remember when Southern played that game, and I remember hearing about it, and it slowly began to sort of come through, and so people at our game, everyone was hearing about it, and people were really concerned. Because there's already so much, you have alumni who feel different ways about HBCUs playing predominantly white institutions.
Hey, don't get me started.
Yeah. And so, you'll have people say things like, we shouldn't. And then there are those who believe that will they provide an end, because most HBCUs, I'm sure all who play these games, are compensated for it.
Right.
But then, in the back of your mind, you just hope that you can get your kids there, play the game, deal with whatever comes out of that, and get everyone back safely. And we played ours. We played in California at Cal State, and that worked well for us. It was a great recruiting trip. Our band got to play at Apple, and the people of that area just really embraced the band. And I think that it has a lot to do with the fact that we didn't play a school in the South. That's just my own personal opinion. And we just came out feeling really good about that performance, right? Because Grambling really got so much love, and it was just great for recruiting for us, and it was just good. And so we came off of that high, and then with hearing about Devon, I think everyone in the SWAC sort of felt the same way that we did. Like it almost sort of reignited that question about, like, why are we playing these games? Oh, I know why we're playing these games. These are the things that you don't want to happen. But when you begin to hear Devon talk about how he's going to fight this and he's going to beat this, and God is using him to just be able to do so many things through this, I think people were like, wait, there is something so special about this kid. And so you have other SWAC schools, I think just about all of them, have had some sort of representation of sending well wishes and cards and financial contributions. And I can't remember the SWAC university that actually took up a collection to be able, to send it off to he and his family. And people are constantly and still doing these things, even now. And if you follow him on Twitter, he's just one of the most amazing people. It's certainly one of the most amazing people that I have ever witnessed. To just be able to go through something like this with just such dignity and such grace. And the thing about our band is that it was just one more way to be able to honor him and recognize him, and most importantly, to let him know that, this rivalry isn't bigger than people and the things that happen and the freak accidents that happen. And so I just wanted to say I don't think that it's just us. Like, I think that we chose to recognize Devon in this way, but what people don't know is that this wasn't anything that was just made for TV. Like, we had a home game, and we made the number 33 for Devon, and I think it was done for homecoming as well. So this was just a part of the show that we added in for Bayou Classic. And so I didn't want people to feel like it was a gimmick, because that's not what it was. I think every university in the SWAC, just in general, just people, like, he's gotten outpourings of love from everywhere, from NFL teams, from just everyone has really sort of wrapped their arms around this kid and the situation that he has found himself involved in, and that every day he just rises, because I don't think I could do it if it were me. So I think this was just our way of being able to pay tribute to someone that is a part of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and that's what it was. The DW that we made, it wasn't for doctor. We made the initials DW. DR, I'm sorry. And the DR stood for Doris Robinson. Coach Eddie Robinson, who was our coach for many years, his wife passed away a few months ago. And so that was the world-famed way of honoring her on the football field. And so, the announcer did say it. I don't know if people had tuned in and could hear, but the DR that was spelled out on the field was in her honor because she was such a treasure to Grambling State University the same way that her husband was, and we lost her a few months ago. So that's what I wanted to say.
Well, I definitely appreciate that. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, so like Rashad knows me, right? And again, this is just me speaking on the show. The more validity and integrity of the show is like, when people like you are able to call in and voice their opinion. So people then, they judge their own opinion. So like when you were talking, I almost started crying. Okay, so like that's like why I did not want to. That's like I just can't mix the two. So like you were like breaking it down. You was pulling my heartstrings. You was like, why we play these schools? You was setting me up, and then you was like, yeah, it's the combined. And I was like, oh man. So it's like then when you put that on the field, it's like, oh man, like. It made me just want so it's just like, nah, man, I can't go there with like band. Like I try to keep them separate from like what I see. So like what I saw when I saw the 33, I knew like because I think Southern did something with him at their halftime show, Homecoming, and Garrett Edgerton, shout out to him, and his team. He was like, yeah, okay, that's what he was explaining to me. I was like, oh, okay, that's what's up. So then I knew, but I only saw. All right, so don't get mad at me. Yeah, the 1-3 was bigger than the other 3. So like that's what I saw. Like it was like the band part of it. So I was like, okay, we did that. But I was like, man, they pulling at my heartstrings, man. Like, oh, I don't like that, So then, the doctor part, like the R was off. Like the R was crooked. So
I don't know about that, but okay, I'm gonna let you have that one. Okay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So like I knew it was somebody, but like when I was looking, I was like, man, look at that R. I was like, look at that R. Like so, my whole focus was like, man, Grambling, man, they make it. They not executing their formations, man. Like, and they tried to hit me with the Devin Gales thing, And then you kind of come on the show, and then you added to it. So. It's not like I was being disrespectful, but it's just like, oh, like, yeah, don't take that. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Rashad, you have anything to say, man?
Yeah, what it boils down to is Joe doesn't like to show emotion. So if you make Joe show emotion, you catch an L. It's basically how it is.
I mean, because I just don't, because I like to keep it. Like, not angry, but definitely like, oh, you said that you so, where y'all at? Like, how the announcer, but then after, if they was like, oh, Grambling, we want to give a so-and-so a shot, then that would have been cool. But then they did it on the field, it's just like, oh, like, how you going to do that? You know what I mean? So, that's just my opinion. So, like, when we were talking, I was like, man, I don't know if she, like, really know that's just how I am. I'm the same way. I know we've talked about it like with gospel stuff or like Jesus or anything. I just please don't. I mean, you can't boo Jesus, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm good. But again, I'm so glad that you called in. But like you said, to support the show, and you definitely gave us some more insight. Definitely made me. I really should have emphasized that time change, especially for that show. So I'm really glad that you were able to call in here and clean up things. If you don't mind, since you're there, I think we did pretty good with the time here. We're ending our first segment. So if you would like, we'd keep you on the line here and we'll get into the specifics of the game more, if that's okay with you.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I'll put you and Rashad on mute. And we'll pay the bills, as they say, really fast. And we'll come back and get into more specifics of the halftime show between Grambling and Alcorn SWAC Championship. We have our champ that's going to represent us against NCAT. Not us, SWAC, I mean all of us because, you know, this is everyone's show, like Christian say. But, yes, the SWAC representative to North Carolina A&T. We'll get into that. Thanks again for listening. Again, if you need to clean things up, let us know like the Reds did. Like Kelly did. I had to make sure. Okay, so we'll keep it moving. Thanks again. We'll be back.
This is Curtis from 80minutesofregulation.com. From referee's whistle to drum major's whistle and back, your source for sports and marching and athletic music. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
Having an anniversary party, birthday party, or better yet, you're about to marry that special someone? Liquid Effects Photography is the perfect choice to immortalize all your most special moments. With 10 years of dependable professional service that can deliver from the conventional to the best in cutting-edge technology and creativity. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography. We serve the entire upper Midwest and will travel further upon request. Come check us out at liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Or call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556.
Double Time Entertainment. Our passion is music and promoting HBCU marching bands as well as high school marching bands through high-quality movie videos and photos. We have worked with BET, Yamaha, Ludwig, Honda Motor Company, and been featured on CNN and Lifetime Network's series Bama State Style. We also help and orchestrate Battle of the Bands with marketing and promotions, and also became the official media team for the Queen City Battle of the Bands in Charlotte, North Carolina. Join Double Time Entertainment on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and now new on Periscope. Music lovers are noteworthy.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probates to dance footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge One Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
Hello, this is Christine Nayo-Katzman, CEO and publisher of Halftime Magazine, and you are listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
We're back, bringing you back is the Grambling State University Marching Band. Again, thanks again for listening. You're welcome to call in 718-664-6025 if you were there at the SWAC Championship. Let us know what you thought. I'm going to unmute the microphones here as we get into more discussion about the halftime show. I myself did not find any videos of like any stand battle or any fifth quarter or anything like that. But I did see the halftime show. Rashad, I would go ahead and pass it to you for the great prunalysis, if you will. So I go ahead and give you the floor, man.
All right, let's get it on in there, sir. By the way, man, I just want to say that those recordings that you played, at the beginning, like as we're coming back in. But they always sound so good. Like a lot of times they sound better than I thought the band would have sounded. Like, I don't know, maybe you should think about doing a radio station, man. Like every time we come on in, it's like, man, that's chilling. Who is that? Oh, that's the one. Oh, that's cool. Like maybe you should do. I remember Marching Podcast used to have like a little radio station, not Marching Podcast, MarchingFort.com used to have like a radio channel where they would play, just random clips and stuff. So
like with band songs.
Mhm. I mean, it wasn't a radio station per se, but they would just, when you go to their website, you could click on this link and they would just play back-to-back band music, not even the videos, just the music.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I do have an account. I did find this thing called Radiology, and it's essentially just that. It is a radio station, and it would be up to me to come up with, like, the programming, and then I would then be basically then supplying the audio clips or the videos or whatever I'm playing throughout the network. So, yeah, man, definitely, I guess if I actually sat down and, we actually put it together, we could actually make that happen. Marching Podcast on Radiology, even playing, like, archive episodes, the things that we're doing now. I actually was thinking about that, but not thinking about the band clips. But, Rashad, there it is, man. I appreciate that, man. We gonna put it together, man.
There you go, sir. We're gonna do this thing.
Yeah, we definitely would. We'll take that offline, as they say. So, tonight, the SWAC championship, the Grambling State Tigers against the Alcorn State Braves, and football-wise, we were all expecting Grambling to win. I think the quarterback was Offensive Player of the Year. I think. The coach got the Coach of the Year. So I kind of was basically, expecting them to win too. But then Alcorn, they hopefully Grambling wasn't looking ahead, but Alcorn ended up winning, man. And then I swear, man, they won, and then it's back-to-back years for them to win. So everyone, is like in Jackson or, just the rivalry, if you will, they halfway like, but at the same time, because we have the Celebration Bowl next week or in a couple weeks, some folks are like, hey, okay, let's go ahead, let's unite all this as SWAC, and I'm sure all the MEAC folks are combining for our bowl game, so that's going to be really, really interesting and fun. So what you think about the bands, Rashad?
Okay, so I guess Grambling was first. So let me see here. I wasn't really excited, honestly. I was kind of disappointed. Just let's get some clarification here. When I saw Grambling at the Bayou Classic yesterday in the Battle of the Bands, I did not see the halftime show, but I did see the Bayou Classic. And, man, I was jumping out of my seat, so excited about the performance that they did against Southern in the stands. I thought that they sounded great. And it wasn't just me. It wasn't I was just off some random tangent like all Grambling bands sound, Southern, and nobody else thought so. Like a lot of people felt that way. That Southern band did catch the L in the Bayou Classic Battle of the Bands. So I kind of wanted to hear that same type of sound on the field, and I didn't. There was a lot of issues in the show. Really, the show basically boils down to one word, and that was uniformity. And you can kind of see that all throughout the show. When they're doing their step twos, you can see there's a lot of problems in the intervals, a lot of problems in the uniformity of the marching. And I've always had an issue with the step twos. I noticed that they did their step twos in a different way this time. But even then, it just wasn't very clean. When you watch the dance girls dance, you notice one thing that was interesting is that the band didn't dance as much as they usually do. Because you can just watch the feet of the trumpet players by zoomed in on the dance girl. But, even just watching them, you can see that they're doing, different things. One guy, when he's rocking, he's kind of rocking off of his feet. Other guys, their feet are touching. Other guys, their feet are near each other. And then, as you zoom back away from the band, that's pretty much what you see all throughout. It's not a lot of uniformity. It's like, and when they dance, it's like there's a lot of people dancing, but it's not really a whole lot of people dancing the same way. So I think that's the next step for Grambling overall is to start to develop their sound, number one, they're going to have to develop that sound on the field. They're going to have to, say, okay, let's take this same sound that we have in the stands, and let's drill this drill, and drill this drill, and drill this drill, and we're going to have to play it exactly the same way as we did in the stands. I think if they do that, then that'll be awesome. And second thing is they're just going to have to focus on that uniformity. Then they have to be sticklers about that type of thing, as far as everybody's got to look the same, everybody's got to do the same, and everybody's got to play the same. So I really wasn't all that excited, unfortunately. Let's go to Alcorn, though. So I watched Alcorn's show from top to bottom. I was kind of excited about what was going on there. I don't think that they played something as quite as difficult as Grambling did during their drill, but I could hear everything very clearly. I could understand what I was listening to during their drill. I thought their step twos are actually pretty good, which is probably the first I would say from Alcorn. Like, wow, step twos don't look too bad there. So good work to them on that. I want to see them continue to improve on that, and I'll make some more comments on that after I get finished talking about both things. And I just thought that they had a lot of energy. To me, it seemed like Alcorn really had a lot to prove. That's what it seemed like. Sometimes we can think completely the wrong thing. When they were doing that dancer team, they were just so into it. And, so many – oh, wait, hang on. Sorry, let me come off the speaker.
Oh, that's so nice. You actually sound really good with that. That's better.
Sorry about that. So many people will say, dancer teams, gosh, we need to get rid of dancer teams. There's no energy and the crowd doesn't get hyped. But I, for one, was really excited when I was watching Alcorn's dancer team. They did have the problems with uniformity. I will say that, particularly at the end of their dancer team. I don't know what the heck happened there. It wasn't really a wild-out section. It was kind of like everybody just take 4 counts and do what you want. And most people did the same thing, and a couple guys kind of changed positions and did all kinds of stuff. So, no, you can't do that. Either everybody wilds out or nobody wilds out. You need to keep it. It's got to be uniform, But other than that, I thought the energy was really, really good. Their dancer team was interesting. It's kind of like they got in and they got out. They really didn't. They didn't spend a lot of time telling you what song this was. They didn't do like a fanfare type introduction, like da 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 da, and then break it down. They didn't do that. They just started dancing, and but it was exciting. Now, I'm just wondering though, really, is Love a Crime and I Just Got Paid, are these required songs? Like, does every band just have to know these? Seriously? I'm really sick of hearing Just Got Paid. I mean, the song is, my God. The song is 30 years old, and I don't think there's a week where somebody doesn't play that song. I don't think there's 1 week. Like, if Dude could be getting royalties on this stuff, my God, he would be a rich man. But seriously, I was not very excited about Alcorn's choice of music. Love is a Crime and Just Got Paid. It's kind of sick of hearing those. Would have been nice to hear something just a little bit more update, or maybe not even necessarily more update, but just something a little bit more not played all the time. So I definitely would give the overall win to Alcorn. Overall, though, both shows were decent shows. I from an entertainment factor, I enjoyed Alcorn's show just because of the energy. But from a creative standpoint, neither show was really that good creatively. I mean, it's just kind of like the whole autopilot stuff. Get out there, form a step 2, form your dance girl formation, do your dance routine, and get off the field. There wasn't anything creative by either show. So it would have been nice, I guess, if I had seen the Bayou Classic last week to be able to see all these different formations that you guys are talking about, because we definitely didn't see any of that this time. Last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to shut up here, is that both shows were, really short. Like, my goodness. Like, they were 6-minute shows, I think. It felt like it. And it's like, it feels like these, the athletic directors or whoever it is are constantly constantly pushing to have the bands perform less and less and less when it comes to halftime. And it's like, again, they are, what is it, you spite your face? Cut it off your nose and spite your face. I don't know what the saying is, but it's like, do they not understand how much of an important part that these bands play in these games. I went to several A&T games this year, and, I saw several times after the halftime was over, people started leaving. It didn't matter who they were playing. After halftime was over, people started leaving. And it may not be the only reason why people come to these games, but it's a major factor in why people come to the games. So give the bands time to perform, So that's my thing there.
Yeah, man, it's I appreciate that, Rashad. That's huge, and like you said, that is definitely the battle between the two. Elle, what do you think? Did you have an analysis about what you saw, or I know you said that you felt both bands, but you feel like because I know like Rashad has a little bit like more like the details and stuff. Did you have anything else that you wanted to explain or express that what you saw this weekend?
So not really, but I will say to his point about how it seemed as if both of the shows were short, I would agree with that. I think part of that for the game last night was what you probably couldn't see was, the thing with the SWAC championship, there's like a week of activities. And so one of the big events is inducting folks into the SWAC Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. And so right before both bands went on, so right before our band went on, Grambling went on, they took about, I would say probably about 3 or 4 minutes or so, maybe not even, but about 3 minutes to introduce each of the SWAC, the newly inducted SWAC Hall of Famers. And so then, it's like saying the name, and then they get a chance in the university, and then they get a chance to step forward and wave at the crowd. So I think that may have contributed to each of the bands having a shorter amount of time. And then I know Tigger, who was a part of BET at one point, Big Tigger, he was there doing some stuff, and I can't remember if it was after halftime or if it was at the beginning of the third quarter. I don't remember, but then they had someone to come and kick a field goal to win a car or something like that. And I can't remember if that was halftime. I think so. So I think that all of that would have given each of the bands like a shorter amount of time, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely makes sense, because that's what I saw. Like you, Rashad, I saw it was like 6 minutes 56 seconds 7:01. Like like whoa, like well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wish they would just allow these things to happen, and then after they happen, then go ahead and let the bands do whatever it is they're going to do. I mean,
well, I will say, the big thing with the SWAC championship, I don't know if you two heard about this, but R. Kelly actually canceled, and so we didn't have the concert afterwards. I guess when I think about like the best SWAC championship that I ever went to was the first year that it was in Houston, and so it was like the two schools, I think it was Southern University, and I can't think of the other school that Southern played against. And then afterwards, each of the bands from the SWAC were actually, I'm going to use the word mandated to come. And so that was the actual after the game performances. So each university, it was a battle of the bands. So each university, even though your school didn't make it to the SWAC championship, your band was still going to go and have, and I, personally, I'd like to kind of see that come back. I was hoping that since R. Kelly canceled and we really didn't have any after the game excitement, that maybe they would have done like a quick, well, maybe let's bring the band on for like a fifth quarter or something like that after the game. I thought that could have added more to it. But I don't know, maybe the world fan just wanted to, get out of there like the rest of us did. But and like I said, I don't know. I heard really good stuff, but it was hard because the only thing we saw, the Grambling side, we just saw the backs of the bands because they didn't perform. And I don't know what that was about. They didn't. Grambling's band didn't get a chance to perform to our crowd. So I don't know. I'm a fan of Grambling, so I'm just, I hear everything Rashad said, and I think that he's right with some of his analysis. I do think that we have a great sound in the stand, and I don't know. I couldn't figure out what it was yesterday. I couldn't figure out if it was the acoustics. I couldn't figure out. But we did sound a bit different on the field than we did in the stands.
Okay, that's outstanding. That's cool. That's cool. That's outstanding. Shout out to all the folks in the chat room. The great Barney Smart and the great Janelle Bree are in there. Giving a couple comments. Yes, Barney, I do know about that sound, but I think that's the platform we have, brother. Once we take over our own studio, it'll be much more clean sounding. But definitely Janelle said a couple of things. Okay, yeah, they were laughing a bit about the gimmick thing. Barney thought that the Alcorn drill was better than Grambling. That was something that you agree with. That's something that jumped out at me, too. I saw Grambling going into the kaleidoscope, as you will, because that's what I like. But it was definitely either the execution or the design of the drill. And to me, you didn't see the full kaleidoscope from the top, like when they started the formation and then at the end. Like there was something different, and you could tell that they were marching. They were step two-ing, and then they were like stepping backwards, and then like to the rear. So it was like step forward twice, step back, and then like a to the rear. So that looked different. That looked off to me. And then again, like you say, one thing with Grambling is always the precision as far as the executing of the pinwheels or like the straightness of the lines. I saw that. So that made me think like, okay, like Grambling, this is like their normal show. But definitely, I always be tripping about they be dancing so much. Y'all be dancing, and like y'all don't stop dancing. I'll be like, why y'all stop dancing? Even when the dance girls come out, y'all be dancing, yo. I'll be like, whoa. That's tradition, though, right?
I think it's tradition. I do feel like over the past couple of years that when the Orchesis are out dancing, we have moved from full dance routine. We're kind of doing the little rocking back and forth or the rock that we're doing. So I've heard people say that a lot. We do dance a lot. It's tradition. I think that it's not as much as it has been. But, I mean, again, I think that this is what, our band director is very much a traditionalist, and I think that I've seen him, sort of get open to different things and different ideas and different ways of doing things. Mm-hmm. But the things that have made Grambling, we're not going to step away from that. But I will say this, some of the dancing isn't as much as it used to be. And again,
really?
No, it's not. It's not, because when the Orchesis would dance, I mean, back in the 90s when I was at Grambling, we had a whole dance routine while the dancers were dancing. We had our own dance routine, that the band was doing while the dancers were doing their dance routine. And so we're not doing that anymore. It really is more just a rocking from side to side while the Orchesis are dancing. But, you're never going to see, you're never going to see us put our horns on the ground to do a breakdown. You're never going to see us not moving and dancing. That's just tradition, and that's just Grambling. We're just always do us,
I think that the band heads have to remember that, kind of like she was saying there are certain things that have made, Grambling the world-famed Tiger Band. The band heads sometimes have a certain feeling about Grambling, but the world does know Grambling, and there are certain things that they know about them. And the fact that Grambling dances a lot, we as band heads kind of take issue with that because sometimes it can take away from the sound. But
agreed.
The world knows Grambling because they dance, and I don't think there's any. I think there will be very few non-band heads that would go to a game and watch Grambling dance while the dance girls are dancing or whatever it is they're doing and say, man, they're dancing too much. I don't think that anybody would say that because the crowd loves to see the band dance, you know.
So that's outstanding. So yeah, that's what I was. Of course, it's like a typical Grambling show. It's like they came out, but I will give you guys credit. And Rashad, you brought up uniformity, and we bring up Bethune-Cookman and the Nintendo crowd, how they're really good at uniformity. Grambling, I swear, definitely they need to work on the uniformity. I guess the plus side of it is the enthusiasm. So I thought that they came with their normal enthusiasm. And sometimes it looks like, not precise or out of line, but they definitely came with their usual enthusiasm. So then I saw Alcorn, and I'm not going to lie, man, it's just hard because Alcorn is Bizarro State. And I always see Bizarro when I see their shows. It's just like, oh, okay, look, that's our show. That's our show. We do that. And then it's just like, oh, there's a little difference to make it Alcorn. So the thing with me, please, Alcorn, come up with your own ASU or like your own ASU. You should design something that's different than the Jackson State because it looked the same. It looked like y'all changed to make the A different. And then when you do the ASU and the JSU, it's the same S. So that's not like seriously. So I'd be like, man, they doing so it's a lot. I will say that they did execute their drill pretty good. You saw the kaleidoscope there. Some screws loose here and there, but I thought that definitely that they did a better drill than Grambling. But just like you said, Rashad, they got in the block band and they just pretty much and then they got out. I didn't feel that they put too much into it. I felt like and I'm glad the L sheet said that like they were kind of everyone was overwhelmed with the score. It definitely felt like to me they were already thinking about next week and the Honda. Like, when I saw that ending and how fast they got off, and it was just like, okay, hey, we winning the game. Let's go ahead and put what we got to put out here, but we saving what we got, for the actual celebration hole and for the Honda. I felt like they was getting in and getting out, and they didn't have the same energy. I feel that they didn't really get up the same. So I felt. Oh, go ahead, Rashad.
Go ahead, man. I'll let you finish the statement there.
So I felt that Alcorn won the drill, but again, good old Grambling with the energy. I felt that they outperformed at the actual like the dance routine part or the actual energy. So it was hard to say like who won to me because Alcorn, man, it's just hard looking past that that originality. We talked about that a couple weeks ago about schools, certain things you can get over. It's when I see Alcorn, man, I see so much of the stuff Jackson State got, it's kind of hard to get past that. I would like to see them with some more originality, but they sound good. And I think that they're doing all right. So that's what I had. Rashad, did you want to say something, man?
Oh, yeah, but you also reminded me there as far as the sound was concerned. Same thing I said last week with Alcorn as far as their sound. They still need to kind of work on that a little bit. They project very well, but like as far as like holding the note in tune, really more so the thing I noticed was that in the tubas a lot. Like you can hear the tubas, but they were kind of really out of tune from each other. So it's like more of an explosion that's happening underneath the band instead of certain notes that are coming to you. But anyway, the comment I was going to say while you were talking there, it's like, man, Joe, this has got to be really like a Twilight Zone year for you because like Jackson State is bigger than they've ever been as far as I and so therefore them being bigger than they've ever been, they should be better than they've ever been. But it's like they're bigger than ever, and yet things are not going right. And on the other side, Alcorn State is better than I've seen them in the last X amount of years. So kind of that sounds like the Twilight Zone right there.
Yeah, it definitely does. I found out there was some retention issues last year, And, you know, if there is something, I really honestly don't know if there is something going on as far as the director and, you know, the pulse of the band. I hope there's nothing going wrong with it. But definitely, man, I definitely think the retention of the trumpets and everyone jumping on the trumpets this year, maybe it has something to do with the band, man, or, you know, what's going on or their change. But you got to give it to Alcorn. They have been coming up the last couple of years, and we said it on the show too, Rashad. And shout out to my man Maurice, Trump Funk 94. He was even saying that they were coming along. So they have arrived, if you will. And so, you know, I think that they'll do pretty good, if you will, in the next week against North Carolina A&T. I'll read a couple of the comments here. Barney and actually Bree was both talking about when bands are good in the stands and just okay on the field. You know, I guess just making sure that both bands are going to be consistent all the way through. So they talked about that, I think, and then Barney just agreed with her. So, yeah, they're definitely putting, you know, some knowledge out here in the chat room. So shout out to you guys. I appreciate you guys for listening. We're getting close to the next commercial break, and I'm trying to see if there was something else that I wanted to bring up here in this last section. No, I guess not it. So, you know what? I will say that. So, Rashad, yeah, that's what I meant. Overall, I guess, who would you say won the halftime show here at the SWAC championship this year?
Oh, there's no doubt that Alcorn took that home. There was no question.
Okay. Miss Kelly, L, who do you think won the halftime show?
The world fame, all day, every day. And that is my answer. Here's the thing. That is my answer no matter who we play. Yeah. Like I said, I thought that Alcorn, I was impressed. Like I don't know what I thought. I had my own thoughts. Like I said, I live in Houston, and I was just impressed with Alcorn. I think that the football team put on an excellent display of there's a reason why they're champions. And I'm not like a sore loser, so even, you know, I'm really big on Facebook in the SWAC Lounge. So immediately, you know, after the shock wore off, I offered my congratulations, and so I thought the football team did really well. I thought the band, they sounded really good in the stands, and I think everyone, the cheerleaders, like I was just really impressed with Alcorn. And to your point about Jackson State, I think as a Jackson State, alum for you, I'm sure that it's because Alcorn has always been Alcorn. But I will have to say, being a native of Louisiana and sort of knowing all three of the Mississippi schools, Mississippi Valley, Jackson State, and Alcorn, I just think that the state of Mississippi has a whole lot to be proud of with all three of those universities. You know, we play Valley for homecoming quite often, and even though they're the smallest of the three, they are always just a class act every time. And so I think that bringing the SWAC championship to Mississippi, though I would love for it to have come back to Louisiana with us, I think this is good for the state, and it's just good for the SWAC, and it's just good for HBCUs because Alcorn really put on a class act on yesterday. But as far as I'm concerned, Grambling, we won the halftime show. Shout out to the world fame.
You are way too nice. I was trying to get you to say something about Alcorn, but you was like, oh, yeah, well, I know, and they were all nice in Mississippi. You even said something nice about Valley. Like, wow. Like, yeah, see, wow, that doesn't hurt, but, man, that's hard to do, too. Shout out to Valley. It is much love.
Shout out to Valley. Let me
Yes.
just say this: we played Valley for homecoming this year, and like our homecoming was rained out. In Valley, that's like one school you never hear them like talk about financial issues. And so I didn't go to the game. I was listening to the game, and the newscaster was like a couple of minutes before halftime, he was like, "Is that Valley's band? Are they here?" And then the few people who were there from Valley, like they were all excited. And I mean, like, yeah, Valley was there. They came in all of that rain. They performed. They did a really good job, and they were there until the end. So I just always think that the Mississippi schools, are just really represent their state very, very well.
Well, that's cool. Again, that's something nice. Yes. What you say, Rashad?
My dog.
The dog barks on cue.
Right. That's cool. Well, I'm gonna mute you guys' microphones so we can go to the commercial break. Yes, Valley was in the rain, and y'all know that they had them red berets on, and y'all know they showed up at they had those on. Oh, my bad. Shout out to Valley. We love Valley. We'll be right back after these commercial break.
Hey, this is Kitty, and you're listening to the Marching Podcast. Hi, this is Yetta. You're listening to the Marching Podcast.
Double Time Entertainment. Our passion is music and promoting HBCU marching bands as well as high school marching bands through high-quality movie videos and photos. We have worked with BET, Yamaha, Ludwig, Honda Motor Company, and been featured on CNN and Lifetime Network's series Bama State Style. We also help and orchestrate Battle of the Bands with marketing and promotions, and also became the official media team for the Queen City Battle of the Bands in Charlotte, North Carolina. Join Double Time Entertainment on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and now new on Periscope. Music lovers are noteworthy.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probates to band footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge One Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Need to write music and drill? Get it on the field. Outfit your band. Keep your administrator happy and still have a life. Encountering drama in the process, ain't nobody got time for that. Let Block Band Music assist you with musical arrangements and drills to fit your band, and also the equipment, gear, and accessories to keep the visuals, music, and marching on point. Contact blockbandmusic@gmail.com and see how this worldwide minority-owned business can uplift your band.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
Hello, this is Dr. Joel Beard, Jackson State alumnus, 1966. I march in the Jackson State Marching Band, which was then called the best band in the land. And you are now listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
back in the final segment of the evening. 718-664-6025. Go ahead and please let us know what you thought about the game, or let us know anything that we might not be having right. You are listening to the Sounds of Dynamite. Bringing us back from the break, Bizarro State. I know Bizarro. So some folks just hit me up on Twitter. They are Facebook. They go, what's Bizarro State? As I unmute the microphones here. So like Superman has, Superman, right? Okay, so in the cartoon and the comic book, there was this brother Bizarro, right? And he was like Superman, but it was like the dark Superman. So imagine like Jackson State, and then Alcorn. You see what I'm saying? Bizarro, like the dark version, the shadow, evil. You see what I'm saying? That's how we pretty much refer to them. Again, it's love. It's a lot of things, but it's just like second nature. Bizarro State. They definitely have a lot of things that we go back and forth. But again, that Mississippi rivalry between Jackson State and Alcorn, especially, is not that far away. That good Vicksburg dividing line, if you will, has a lot of folks. It's the bomb. I just like saying that because I wouldn't be a true Boomersman if I didn't. So shout out to the Sounds of Dynamite. Good luck this weekend. Good luck to everyone. I wanted to ask you guys about that. We have now set the Celebration Bowl. So it's going to be the champion from the SWAC against the champion from the MEAC. I'm excited about that. I hope that they talk to the CIAA and the SEAC and they get together and do something. I don't know if the funding is the same. Shout out and thoughts and prayers with Stillman College. I saw something this week that they may be discontinuing the football program there. And, of course, that's not good. Don't want to miss out on any Stillman-Tuskegee battles. So definitely it would be great to see those conferences have something as well. Or, hey, that'll be our playoff. Who's in? It'll be the champs from one of those four conferences. That'll be cool. So we hope that would grow in that financial sense. But the Celebration Bowl is coming up. Looking at my notes, I do want to, before we get into that, though, right quick, I do want to, because I think this will be really quick, I had some people give me some information about Miles and Bama State, okay? Got a couple emails, got a couple folks who said some things. I had just wanted to put it out there because the rivalry is real, y'all. So, like, folks don't like Miles. Folks don't like Talladega neither. I can't say, let's say, folks do like Bama State per se, but I've heard so much about Miles and Talladega, and it's mostly, quote-unquote, the no class, or, like, that they like to throw darts, or, like, they do anything to light the fire, if you will. Not classless, the total opposite of L. Because L, I see now that she is going to say something positive no matter who we talk about. But folks just do not feel that way. So I'm going to read really quick, just because I said I was going to do this. This guy, Lab Anderson, shout out to you, man. He said he was actually there. And I got a text from Brother Snipes, Professor Snipes. You guys check out We Chopped It Up with Brother Snipes here on this very network. So I will read this. I would just let you guys say, like, oh, you can say your two comments on it. Basically, Lab Anderson hates Miles. No. Don't say. He was pissed at Miles, not that he hates him. Okay. Basically, this is what happened. These are two accounts. Basically, he felt that ASU was a lot cleaner. And, which is, they don't have that reputation. But he said that after the first 4 songs that Miles was ready to go. Okay? Then, as they were getting ready to go, Alabama State replied with a chant, play your book. Okay, now, mind you, this is his account of what happened. The chant was, play your book, or boom, boom, play your, however they saying it, right? Then Bama State right after that played 2 songs, and then they started to leave. Because it was like, okay, we said, what you going to do? Y'all going to leave. Okay. Then Laugh says that Miles' directors then ran back into the stands and started to direct a song. Okay. He says that every time after that, ASU tried to respond, Miles would start off another song. All right. Then they said Miles' director was yelling at them across the field, let's play, let's play, let's play. So while I'm reading this, I'm like, dang, this is way more heated than we were talking about. Which is why we'd love for people to call in and say something, right? So then basically he goes in more to just say that he just doesn't believe that Miles has no class or discipline. Same with the Talladega, what we hear about them, that they just out there park and blow. They just out there, trying to pull internet hits, if you will, okay? But basically, they said right after the national anthem between these 2 schools, Miles was playing something. Right after the homecoming presentation, Miles would play something. I mean, he just basically was saying that Miles was the actual antagonist of the day, if you will. So that is, he said some more things, but I don't need to read all that. But again, this is Lab Anderson. I actually got a text from Brother Snipes, who actually heard the show, and he's probably hearing what the brother just said for the first time. He actually says that they were told to play 5 songs from the Alabama State director. After their 5th song, they were waiting for the police escort to line us up to leave. All right. While waiting, ASU blew an intro and 1 song. So rules out the door. Basically, it's in a sense, they are saying they were set up, play those 5 songs, move out the door, but while y'all walking out, we gonna crank on your backs on the way out, okay? Miles said, oh, hell no. Well, that ain't what Willie said. That's kind of me putting that in there. So he just said they basically then chanted to Miles, you don't have a book. So again, right there, 2 different accounts. One was said, play your book. The other one said, you don't have a book. And then Miles was like, again, oh, hell no. And that's when they got back into the stands to play nonstop. All right. So I wanted to clear that up. I had a couple of responses, more than just these 2, but I just wanted to read that on the air because we didn't have that information a couple of weeks ago. Rashad, what do you think about that account, or did you know about all of this, Rashad?
No, I didn't know about any of that, man. So, yeah, we need to get some more. We need to get CSI in on this and find out what really happened. Right.
Because, again, it's pointing the finger there at Miles, and that's that common theme, like, you know what I'm saying, these quote-unquote new programs on the scene, they throwing darts at folks. Kelly, do you have anything to say about this? Had you heard anything about Miles and Bama State, and that, rivalry between the 2, if you will?
No, but it so sounds like, I had not, but what it sounds like is that whole Jackson State, Southern University kind of rivalry as well. That's the first thing that came to mind as you were explaining it. I'm old school. When one band is playing, I want the band to finish and then the other band to play. I have sometimes used the word classless and disrespectful, over the past couple of years with a certain band and a certain band director who loves to run around calling other swag bands a high school band and so forth and so on. And so, I don't know, I just think that mutual respect is needed. And I think that there are adults who should be called about this. The adults, the directors are allowing it to happen, right?
Yeah, man, we talked about this last year. I think it was Talladega and Miles when they were, battling back against each other, and there was, some, and even Professor Snipes on his show, he actually apologized to the band world. But I definitely think, I don't know, you are correct, but there's like a medium, because sometimes it is exciting. Like, I'd be like, oh, did you see, oh, just like now, like, oh, snap. So even if I was there, I know that would get me excited, but at the same time, I understand you as well, like that we should be a little bit more positive. And there have been other people on the fifth too, Rashad, that have like put on there like, oh, we need to be a little bit more nice. Shout out to Brother Stringer, Terrell Stringer. I remember him saying that a little bit. I think that I posted something and I was being funny with Rashad. I was like, oh, I made sure it wasn't from Norfolk State, Rashad. And Brother Stringer was like, man, why you say that, brother? He's like, we shouldn't be saying that, brother. I was like, all right, man, I understand. But I do think it's a little bit of excitement in talking trash, though. You know what I mean, though, right here.
Talking trash is a part of the game. I don't like it when we get to the point where there's nothing positive that we can say, and we can't ever build up our programs, or we can't work together in order to increase what we're doing. But talking trash is a part of it, and that's a part of what keeps it exciting. And that's, whether it's you're talking about showstop bands or NBA or NFL or what have you, it's all part of it, man. It's fun.
Just touching base of folks in the chat room. Yes, it's the 19th. It's not going to be this week. So the Celebration Bowl, for all those listening, it's not this upcoming Saturday, giving them the good bye week to rest their bodies, but it looks like the 19th. So, yeah, I see Janelle Breed in there. Yes, it is the 19th, Miss Bree, in Atlanta. And then Barney just was chiming in here. Well, I don't know. This might be him. 334, that's Alabama, right? Someone from the 334 area code. Give us your name. Where you calling from tonight?
What's going on, man? This is Barney, man. How you doing?
Oh, what's going on, Barney? How you doing, man? I thought that was you. How are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm good. I was just listening in and hearing everything from the Bayou and everything. And kudos to Rashad, man. Everything you said, I totally agree with you 100%, man. You hit it right on the head.
Thank you, brother.
That was a good pro-analysis. That was a good old pro-analysis.
My check is in the mail to you, man. Appreciate that.
Hey, now I got to touch on this because I know, we didn't talk about it like we did. That ASU Miles, I was there. I periscoped it. We filmed it from the beginning. Actually, let me go back. Last year, they had a battle of the bands in the Acadome at ASU between Miles and Alabama State. And from what we gathered from the people that were there, and Miles was really, a lot of folks were really salty about that. They took that. From what I understood that ASU kind of gave Miles the business in that battle of the bands in the Georgia Dome. In the Acadome last year. So they kind of took that to heart. So this year, they came into Montgomery with a chip on their shoulder. Now that holds from last year, and it carried over to this year. As we were getting ready to walk up to the stadium, getting all the equipment ready and all that kind of stuff, we marched in with the band and. We filmed them coming in, and they were marching in on beat on this cadence, and all you could hear is murder, murder, kill, kill. I was like, wow, these cats mean serious business. This the whole band chanting and marching in on like a slow count death march, marching into the stadium. Murder, murder, kill, kill. Ah! I was like, and it was just from the buses to inside the stadium. That was that whole chant. And someone that person who did say that. Miles crunk up on them right after they played their the national anthem. Well, it wasn't the national anthem. They played ASU was playing some. I think it's part of the school song, or maybe it might have been that fight song. But they were waiting for the football team to come out of their little tunnel with the smoke screen and all that. So as soon as they came out, they played that, and they played Hail Alabama. After that, it was on. The clock it was started. And because there was no zero quarter, really. So soon, Bama State was still on the field, and Miles just started letting them have it while they were still on the field. They were trying to march back off the field to hurry up and get back in the stands. And from right through that point, that's when the tempo was changed right then and there. Nobody really, took any blows back and forth. First quarter, second quarter. There was a couple songs played in between, but it really, really didn't get started until the fourth quarter and then that fifth quarter. But that was probably one of the best fifth quarters I've ever been a part of, and I've watched a lot of. The intensity was there. Both fan bases were there. I mean, and you think about it, Miles is, about an hour and a half from Montgomery, hour 45 at the most. And so the travel from the visiting school to come in, I mean, it was a lot of people on Miles' side. I was surprised to see that many people, take that trip. But the what I call the talk zones in any band or any game in the SWAC is usually in the end zone. And you got because they have both bands sit right across from each other in the stands, but that end zone, that's where you got both schools, former people who marched in the band, any KK Psi or Tall Betty or whatever, they're in the end zone talking smack to each other and all that kind of stuff, to the point you alluded to, talking trash. But it was intense, and I have never heard an announcer say, please exit the field until the players can get off the field. So when the players get off the field, then you hear the announcer says, thank you for attending the Turkey Day Classic. Now let's get on with the fifth quarter. Wow. And I was like, oh, man, this is – and I don't know if you've seen any of the photos, but someone took a picture from ASU side, and it showed, man, it was like hundreds of people in the end zone watching the battle go back and forth. It was a nice arena. It was nice, great atmosphere. The fifth quarter, it was like a fifth and a sixth because there was a pause in between the two. It was like, what's going on? It was like, well, why don't they play? Then why don't they play? And that's when it goes back to what I think Snipes was talking about. Each band typically is playing 5 and out, then they hit the road and go. Well, as Miles was getting ready to leave, then State played something, and like he said, all rules go out the door then. So they ran. You could hear the excitement in the kids. They were hollering. They were running to get back into their positions in the stand. And we was like, here we go. And it just kept going and going. And for me, it was like, it kind of reminded me, ASU and Miles, it kind of reminded me like a Muhammad Ali fight. It was like, and I say this, is like if Miles was Muhammad Ali, it was like they were, well, actually ASU was just, they was just throwing these blows at Miles at the beginning. And I was like, man, come on, Miles, give us a show or something. And then they looked like that good old rope-a-dope. They would act like they got stung. They got hit real hard. Then all of a sudden, Miles comes out of nowhere. Like Muhammad Ali coming out of nowhere. I fooled you, thought I was hurt. And then they just let it loose. I was like, oh, my God. It was probably one of the best fifth quarters I've ever been a part of.
That's actually really cool, man. We definitely appreciate that insight. Shout out to all the folks that hit us up on the email. And again, just like, if you maybe not able to make the show, hit us up, definitely get the comments. I definitely give you your time. Like we said, we definitely want this to be the show for the people. So any information we got, we definitely will put it out there. So I want to give Miss LL Cool K a round of applause. I appreciate you stepping in. And, of course, giving your 2 cents or whatnot. I'll go ahead and give you the floor here. Do you have anything to, anything on the horizon coming up before we close the show? I'm giving everyone a little parting shout-outs before we leave. So you had anything that we need to be looking for in the coming up for you, or anything else going on with you?
No, I don't think so. I want to first just say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be able to come on your show. It was a lot of fun. I actually learned quite a bit from you and Rashad, as well as your last caller, the gentleman who spoke about the Miles and Alabama
Alabama State, yeah.
Yeah, that was insightful. And just thanks for having me. I'd love to come on again. Probably it would have to be, next season because this is it for us. The world famed, they'll do Mardi Gras parades and things like that, and they probably have a couple of more NFL appearances that I've heard about. But it's been a great season. Our football coach gave us another really great season to be proud of. Being alumni of Grambling State University, it was great watching our band sort of almost be like a phoenix rising up out of the ashes with that phenomenal, Bayou Classic performance. And, yeah, it's just good. The memories will be great, and I just look forward to a great next season. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And definitely thanks for giving us the feedback on the show. I want to give a quick shout-out to Miss Janelle Bree again. She put in the comments, and she's talking about that vision. Folks are going to start charging for the fifth quarter next, and she laughed, but that statement seems kind of real. You know what I'm saying? Like, even at Jackson State with the whole merge thing. I mean, that was something that's like born into. That was just, we knew as freshmen we're going to get crunk on when we merged with the upperclassmen. But now it's the merge, and they're raising money for it. So yeah, definitely. Well, like Barney said, you got the announcer talking about, oh, let's get it on. They gonna want to start putting that in the ticket price. So definitely something to be thinking about. And maybe it'll be good. Also, speaking about the fifth quarter and money, shout out to Christy, and I'm gonna definitely make sure I let her know. But out here on the West Coast, after the football games are over, I don't know if this is for you guys too, because it looks like a local broadcast. They now have the fifth quarter out here in Southern California. So as soon as football goes off, they now have the fifth quarter with Jim Hill, which is so funny because Jim Hill is the high school where my dad went to in Jackson, the sports broadcaster out here who does the Lakers, mostly the CBS affiliate out here. This guy's name is Jim Hill. So the fifth quarter with Jim Hill out here in L.A. after the game. So we definitely need to put our dollars together and something to be thinking about. Barney, got you on here, man. Anything else before we sign off for the evening?
Man, I'm just I'm really appreciative of you and Rashad and Janelle and Christy and anybody that's been associated with this program, man. And I see I see a great vision for this broadcast and on the horizon, and the things that is and the value that is created and is going to create. I'm really sad right now because it's almost towards the end of it is the end of the season. I mean, you got we got the Celebration Bowl, then we got the Honda, and that's
Honda.
It. Yep. Other than maybe some local promoter doing some type of what's that movie with Ice Cube and bootleggers? What is they were promoters? Other than that, that's probably what you got is just those little bitty small local battle of the bands, and that's it for us until next year.
Yeah.
But we will Double Time will be at the Celebration Bowl, and there is a battle of the bands afterwards too on that. And we're going to do the Honda, and that's going to be our year-ending wrap-up as well. So we're in the same boat, my brother.
That's what's up. And it's Janky Promoters. Shout out to Bridget, because I was like, oh, my God, what is that movie? And I was like sitting here drawing a blank, thinking about it, too. Janky Promoters, yes.
Yeah, Janky
definitely.
Promoters,
yeah. Y'all check that out.
That's unfortunate, man. Yeah, that's unfortunate because you got a lot of bands that won't even deal with those folks, man.
I know, right?
Because of that mess right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's pretty much that's all I got, man. I great things from this program, man, and looking forward to next year.
Bridget asked, did anyone catch the Morgan Band show? I think she brought that up last week.
I saw a little bit on Periscope. I think it was Janelle who did it. Yeah, I think it was. I don't want to put her out there like that. But I saw it, man. When the little clips that I saw, man, they got a nice sound. They got a nice sound, and the arrangements are clear. I mean, they sound really, really good.
We were talking about that this year.
I just hate I didn't get an opportunity to get it, man. Yeah, that's right. Last week we were talking about that. I didn't get an opportunity to go to it, but it was like a stellar production put on, man. They had the lights, the smoke machine, and all that. I was like, dang, this is nice.
Yeah, I was really impressed with them in Chicago, and I think we saw them last year. I know that we had like Morgan, I think, because we do the award show after the Honda, and I think we put Morgan as one of those up and coming bands, and she said, Bridget said, that was her putting it out there on Periscope. So yeah, man, I always like seeing that. I always like adding that parody to our craft, more and more bands showing up like that. That's actually really, really good. Rashad, anything going on with you and Block Band? Anything going on?
Yes, sir. So we are transitioning into the concert band season, and for a lot of bands, this is something I just learned myself. A lot of bands will continue doing a lot of parades all the way up into Mardi Gras season. That's not something that's common here in North Carolina, so that was new to me. So Block Band will still have plenty of music for that. We've got a ton of that. We will be putting out our Pep Band bundle package really soon, which is basically you'll be able to get 5 pieces of music for a low price. Generally, the price of the cost of 1.5 pieces of music, and you'll be able to get 5 for that. It's always been a great seller. We always, wait till the middle of December to put that together because we want to make sure the music is hot and will stay hot until, let's say March the 15th when Pep Band season is pretty much, February 15th, but at least until March when people are starting to put that stuff down. And of course, Block Band has concert music. We've got a lot of music in our repertoire as well. So we continue this, even though the marching band season is kind of winding down. We continue to stay that source for band directors. We have our reeds and mouthpieces and everything that you need. Just hit us up. Support your black-owned businesses, but support those businesses that support you, I should say.
Outstanding. Bridget says, don't forget the Midwest Band and Orchestra Clinic is next week. And I guess, is that in Baltimore? Is Bridget?
That's Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. Okay.
Yeah, Midwest. Yeah, it's always Chicago the week before Christmas, I think.
And is that Brother Shaw? Is that Brother Warren Shaw that works with that? Is that him or Chicago? Yeah, she said Chicago.
Sure. I'm not sure if it is, but I know they have a bunch of band directors, like the HBCU consortium. They're there every year.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to get with those guys because I want to bring something like that here to LA. That would really be great. I'm really trying to put that together. So, for anyone out there listening, we definitely want to bring that out here to the West Coast and expose some of these band directors out here to some of these high schools. There are actually some high schools out here that probably could start to do the show style marching or have much more of what you see down south, but the actual image isn't there for them. Shout out to JW North out in Riverside, California. I think they're in Riverside or they're Moreno Valley, but I believe they're a majority African American, predominantly listed high school, and they do not have anywhere close to what we are talking about. I talked to a lot of the administrators there. They would be like, man, yes, that kids would love to do that. But, of course, it's not the same way out here as far as, band directors or whatnot. Right. Maybe some of these band directors, Rashad, that are on that GroupMe app, some of these guys can start getting jobs out here. Once that is in the public school or actually in the school system for the kids to actually be a part of, I definitely think it would start the fire moving. So the need is out here for all you band directors and for all the people out here listening. The crop is ripe for what we're doing, and there are a lot of kids that can benefit from it, black and Latino, because the Latino kids, they deep, and they don't be talking about doing nothing, So definitely, we definitely want to instill that courage in these young people. Okay.
You said those parades. Those parades. That where Rashad's at. Hey, if Carolina keep on playing, man, you'll have a bunch of those HBCU bands and high school bands playing in that parade for Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah,
we look forward to happening.
So that's again. Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead. You good?
Oh no, I was just gonna wrap up the show again. Tell everybody again, thanks for listening and how important everything was. And again, shout out to you, Miss LL Cool K. I definitely will be hitting you up about doing the interview. I saw that your degrees are in history and in geography. My degrees are in history and geography, the greatest subjects and the smartest subjects in the world. If you know geography, you pretty much you smart. You start talking about the weather and the earth and stuff, and people are like, dang. So, yes, shout out to you. So we definitely will be getting you up to chopping it on with you.
I'd love to.
And shout out to thanks Janelle. She posted the link here for the Midwest Band Clinic. So again, thank you for that. Thanks again for everyone who is listening tonight. I do want to say, if you are interested in becoming a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show and we'll give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play your commercial. We'll post things on our website and our blog about your business. We'll show your icons during the broadcast. And we'll help send out information through social media. So contact us so we can help build your business. All right? That's all the time we have on the show tonight. Thanks to everyone who called in. Thanks to everyone who listened. Check out the website, Donate What's in Your Heart, to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening. And remember, the lectures you deliver may be very fine and true, but I'd rather get my lesson by observing what you do. See you next time.